So Hannah, do you just want to talk through what you sort of the steps you went through here around
Yeah.
the audit?
So what we do pretty much in this is we're sort of looking at what you've got going online currently with your business. So beginning, as I sort of mentioned to you, we set you up on all your social media channels. So we have a look at, before you eventually go to doing that, what you've got. So this is the Doggy Daycare Salon, searching it on Google, which again, already amazing. You've got the first website to come up. You've got your Google My Business, which is fantastic. You've got already some amazing reviews. You've then got your grooming salon coming up, Groupon. You're pretty much shaking up this whole Google search. So that's amazing. That's all great.
Yeah, for your own name, which is really good. It's interesting here. It asks if we own the business, and so that suggests. Do you respond to your Google reviews and that sort of thing, Liz? You've got that on there and stuff? Yeah, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's always interesting. Yeah. So, but I'm not sure what the percentages are of businesses that have a Google My Business listing, but it would be below 50%. And did you know you can actually, what we do now, and Hannah, when she's scheduling as well, it does the Google Business updates. Have you been doing any updates on the Google Business as well?
Do you mean by like the postings?
Yeah, so you can actually post to Google now on your Google Business. Yeah, we couldn't do it in the past, but it's a good thing nowadays. So yeah,
I did used to. I've not done it in quite a while. But yeah, I did used to, because I've got two Google pages, one for the daycare and one for the grooming.
Okay, and so and so what Hannah was sort of saying, and clearly when you're searching for your own business, you'd expect. Am I as jiggly on your screen as what I am on my screen? I'm jiggling all about. It's quite. I feel like, you know, when certain people, if they see bright lights flashing, then all of a sudden they drop into it and have a fit. Well, that's what I'm like on the screen at the moment on my end. Anyway, but the other thing that Hannah mentioned, you know, is that it's great that you appear. This is all you. What can happen sometimes if it's competitive, you can finish up having Google Ads over and above you, where people are competing against you for your own business name and business service. And so in this case, you don't have that. So that's a positive for you as well. And so then I think the next one will be in here where Hannah just went through to the website, right? So in terms of the way the website is laid out and set up.
Yeah. So that's at first a great thing again. The grooming. Yeah, this one, we always say to new clients, it's really have your social media at the top of your website to show that you're a socially active business, and you've got that, and not many have that. So that's amazing. What else? You have the great picture.
Yeah.
Call us now.
That's right. So we've sort of been taught, haven't we, to read websites top left, down, and this banner image is great, right? That really sort of shows, and then top right, right, in terms of what do you do, why us, how to contact us, and particularly for people my age, 10 years younger than me, maybe. We want the quickest and easiest ways often, right? So the fact that you've got your phone number nice and prominently is really good. I don't know if you had any sort of plug-in feeds. I might actually just have a quick look at the actual website itself and go online. The Grooming Salon, if that's okay. Just give me 1 second. Because we took a screenshot at the top. Grooming Salon. Yeah. There he is. I'll click on that and then I'll just go via Google. Yeah. So there is actually. So I'm assuming if you click on a few of these, so I like this sort of, when you've got this sort of stuff too, Liz, it's often worth making these, because we are lazy, right? So anything that requires us to sort of scroll down, I don't know. So the good thing is this website's got a really good amount of content. loads reasonably, right? So, because considering you've got quite a lot of photos that can be used as well, you can actually add sort of a plugins that include your Facebook feed or Instagram feed onto the website as well.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, and the other thing is, and if you ever wanted to sort of look what that looks like by way of example, right? So we kind of practice what we preach. The other thing is you can add all of your socials, right? So if we talk about the six main, but then you can add these plugins, right, to sort of show what the latest news feed, what your news feed is looking like. The other thing is, do you know if your your web person, you have the ads pixel sitting behind the website? Do you know if there's a pixel behind the website? Have you heard of that before?
Is that for Facebook?
Yeah, for Facebook, just to measure how many people are going through the website.
I don't know.
No, don't know. Um, do, I'm not sure. Just so you know, it's a little bit of a code that goes behind the website. It's very similar to Google Analytics. It just lets us know how many people are going through the website and that they are visiting, basically. It's just so you're aware. It's sort of how it associates and it sort of tracks things. Well, there you are. Then the next thing that Hannah does, did you do this, Hannah?
LinkedIn. Yeah, I did this. So this is you on LinkedIn. Great picture. We also say that, when you're in business, we want you to be professional as well as your business on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn's a great way to, market your business on there and say what you do at the grooming salon or the doggy daycare. It's a great, then so we get you to invite your network connections. It's another way to market your business as well.
And Hannah is so lovely, Liz. But this is your online business card, and at the moment, there's a lot you could do here, right? That probably isn't being done. Liz, I know Hannah was introduced to you by someone from her BNI, but do you do any of that offline sort of networking at all yourself?
Not the one that Hannah's involved with
No.
Clinton. No.
No. The only reason I was saying that is because other than offline business networking, LinkedIn is really your online business card, and it sort of is a way of letting people know that you are a business owner and you're a representative of the business that you're a representative of. And realistically, it's kind of like word of mouth and gives you that capacity to network on steroids almost, right? So,
Okay.
the idea here is whilst Hannah and Diffy Social would never post as Liz, we would post as, and I don't think there was a LinkedIn company, right? So, but what we would suggest and what we would create is a LinkedIn company for the grooming salon. And the advantages of doing that is that we post through the company, and we're now finding that LinkedIn company reach organically is greater than Facebook, right? So, having worked with Diggity Doggy Daycare down here, I know I'm thinking a lot of your clients would be professional people, right? And so LinkedIn is more likely that's where they're going to hang out, right? So in terms of it's all about newsfeed still, but it's important that we're also posting through the business on LinkedIn to give you that capacity to get reach to your professional clients that are going to bring the dogs in, whether it's for the salon or for the childcare. Yeah. So that's an important creation for you, I think, and it would really be advantageous.
Okay.
So then your Facebook, which is amazing with all your gorgeous dog pictures. I love looking at them. You've got your location. You've got your the great cover photo. We do normally suggest, a cover photo is great to show people and places. So you've already got the grooming salon written right there, so you probably don't need it in the cover. You could just have that all as, dogs. Keep that brand alignment, so using the same cover photo on all your social channels. You've got your username, which is great. You've got your information, which is about your business. You've already got such a great following on there. What else can you add, Steve?
So realistically, how long's the page been live, Liz?
Oh, I don't know,
Have you?
7 years, maybe something like that. I don't know, to be
Because
honest.
it is the perfect blend, right? So people having dogs and puppies, so anything that I've been involved with wherever you've got pets, right?
Yeah.
It does generally get organic and go like the clappers by comparison to professional services or other types of businesses. As Hannah said, I would, or certainly the best thing that we would normally suggest would be having Grooming Salon as the business. It's and Liz potentially up there doing some business, right? So if you're going to use a picture of yourself, use a picture of yourself up here, because this actually probably makes you look smaller than you are, right? This kind of makes you look like, you know, as soon as you put the logo that you've got, which is a great logo, clearly kind of shows what you're about. You'd have your logo there, and in many ways, um, I do like the montage type pictures, and we use that a lot for many businesses. But you probably want to consider where the montage picture might fit back on the website, because there's not necessarily, I would potentially, in the first place, suggest a better cover might be the banner picture that you already have on the website, right? And so you'd use, so that it's all the same business. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
So
So like
this
that,
is,
that one of the chihuahuas in the back.
yeah. So
That
this is
one
a
there.
very picture. It's clearly very quite professional.
Clean.
It's
Yeah.
clean. It's professional. So more's the point. If you're going to have, the montage, then maybe the montage is one of these sliding banners as well, right? Is so that you then at least know that you're always talking about the same picture. And then the logo as well is really important. That logo on all of your company on LinkedIn, your company on Facebook page, your Instagram, Twitter, Google My Business is all about the logo, because I was going to ask you the question: have you ever heard of Zoo Studio Photography up there by any
Yeah.
chance?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we worked with them for quite a long time, until she came down to Melbourne, in fact, during COVID. And so clearly, again, it was just about sort of straightening them up a little bit around that same sort of thing, right? Is making the most, and again, their organic reach, same as you, is incredible. Understanding that most of us businesses, and yours would be higher, and you'd probably know this, but a little photo like this, if this was an accountant, we'd be lucky to get, 5% of the people that follow your page seeing this photo. I imagine you're probably getting about at least 20%. Would that be about right? Yeah.
Well, you see, the problem is I was getting quite a good reaction to photos, and then I stopped posting for a while.
Yeah.
So I've just started posting again, and it's almost like Facebook has gone, oh, not that important anymore. If you
Yeah,
know
no,
what I
well,
mean.
they are. They're not generous. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
Hannah. We'll talk about that in a second. But the reality is, whether you're a pet business, which is a higher organic, or whether you're a professional service like what we do, Facebook will give you somewhere between 2% and 15 to 20% organic reach. Beyond that, there's a few tricks you can use. You can share posts to groups that can do that, but you can't do that all the time. But the reality is, and particularly since COVID, as soon as you spend $1, right? So to get 600 people to see your posts, particularly for a business like this, you only have to spend probably $1, a couple of dollars, right? You actually, so that's what Facebook has done over the journey, and particularly since COVID, they've become increasingly stingy around the value for organic post, but comparatively generous for the value of your dollar spend, right? And so we use sort of either a brand awareness or engagement or a traffic type campaigns to get people to where you want to get them to, so that Instagram gets better organic, but again, even Instagram, 20 to 30% is the highest you'd ever achieve. And the problem with Instagram, unless you're advertising, someone gives the little puppy a heart, it's probably not going to do much for your business around brand
Yeah.
recollection and traffic and all that sort of stuff, right?
Mm.
But having said that, Hannah,
The same with Instagram, as Steve was saying, with the logo. That's the brand alignment. Having your profile picture as your logo. Also, that the bio is really important. So having like the same bio or call to action, which we'd work with you to write.
Yeah.
Um,
But the benefit, probably the upside again, is that you're always your content, and we take the content from the website, which looks like which was where you're getting it from. But I have worked in other businesses where if a lot of the content's gone to the Facebook first, then we often have to reuse content that's if depending on where it's gone to. But what we suggest is that people put their content on their website so it can be repurposed, because then you get the benefit of search and of social. Because unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Because
no,
with
it
social, the
comes straight
posts are
to
here today,
Facebook.
gone tomorrow, right? So they're in the news cycle for what, 24, 36 hours, and then that's it,
Yeah.
even with lousy reach. We did look at Twitter, Hannah, but
yeah, so no Twitter
I'm not
account.
on Twitter
yeah.
now.
No, and I think I mentioned in the phone call, people do go, why do I need Twitter? But Twitter, as like Steve, you can probably say the reach can sometimes be insane on there. So you just never know who's seeing, the grooming salon.
It's an interesting one, but mainly it's just to treat all of your socials as an asset, right? So it basically gives you the potential to name your business, so to own your name, to own your branding on the asset. Its algorithm just lets everything through to the news feed. Doesn't mean it's of high value, but what it does enable us to do is connect with the target audience within a geographic, connect with anything that's relative from a pets and dog type perspective, and it just helps place you in your industry and in your location, right? So in terms of who you're connecting with. So that's more the point. It's an asset, you may as well own it. And we generally post very similar from Instagram just through to Twitter. So basically, we're just doing the same post that goes through. That's your Google Map. I'm sure you're. So again, even with your website, just so you know, if I go to your website, what we generally recommend to people at the moment, you've got your Facebook on here. We recommend all the socials, but you could easily put your Google map on there as well, because then people can immediately review you from the website, right? Then you don't have to tell people how do you review us. You just say, I'll go to Google on the website, right? So then you can attract reviews in that way. Yeah. Oh, where have I gone? Here we are. So yeah, that was just that. But as Hannah said, you're doing really well on the Google side of things. So, but it is a relatively more recent thing that we can actually post on a daily basis, basically to Google updates. Yeah. And I don't think there was a YouTube channel, Hannah. Either.
No, it's gone to nothing dog grooming related on YouTube.
Yeah. So again, just a bit like Twitter, right? You may as well own your own name and own your brand on YouTube. So we basically set it up. It's owned by Google, right? YouTube is a Google product, and basically it becomes almost your second best searchable tool, particularly if you put some video on it. But also it's a fantastic landing page because it has your cover sitting up top. It has all your links to websites and your socials. And as I said, any video, and you can put an about and contacts and all that sort of stuff on it. So you may as well own it. And let's face it, nowadays doing a video on our phones isn't that much harder than doing a photo, right? It's pretty much the same.
That's right, yeah.
So in actual fact, uploading video and using video, once you put it on YouTube, then it's generally very easy to put video back onto your website. Yeah, because it's loaded on. You just put the link onto your website. I don't know who. I think I saw at the bottom who was your web person, but your web person, if you're not able to do it yourself, your web person would be fairly easy around putting, videos in. You might have it as a bit of a blog feed or something along those lines, where you have photos and videos around what's happening in the centre today, or something that's been happening. Just as a way of using content that could be shared to your socials as well. Yeah. So that's kind of the audit side of things. Is there any sort of questions of Hannah or me around that? Just
no,
the audit?
I mean, a lot. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is like, because I'm not that up on social media, and obviously, especially not some of the other ones that you've mentioned, like LinkedIn and Twitter and YouTube and that. I'm assuming that a lot of this stuff that you've talked about, you guys would be able to help me with or do for me, because it just went
Yeah.
Well, that's why we mention it, so that we'll tell you what we can help with. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll show the model in the second, but the idea is effectively, well, I'll let you go, Hannah, but essentially what we're trying to achieve by doing the social media marketing in the first place
is so we obviously have objectives that we want you to achieve due to social media marketing. So at Diffy, we protect and build equity in your brand and business online through social media. We differentiate your brand, your business on social media and online from competitors. So we're making your brand and business stand out amongst your other dog grooming competitors. We keep them top of mind with your target communities. So obviously, people that want to go and get their dog groomed, or at doggy daycare. So where you're being seen online by those people, by increasing the number of communications with prospects and existing participants and community network. And lastly, we increase business development opportunities using inbound marketing tactics and proofing. So we drive your target audience and their interest from the social media onto your website to either call, contact you, inquire.
In other words, we want you to do better, right? So we want you to retain more business, because often people forget that. But we also want you to get new business. So a lot of the retained business happens from the day-to-day posting, right around just constantly posting with a habit and everything consistent across the socials and the website. But then the new business often happens as a result of the advertising. We generally suggest people spend $5 a day or thereabouts to promote their business. Now we suggest that, right? We've got some clients that spend as little as $2 a day, and or do little lifetime spends at times if they've got a particular event or whatever that they're wanting to do. But in the main, we suggest $5 a day because we believe that's something we kind of know what to expect if we're spending that sort of money. We've got other clients that clearly spend a lot more than that if they think that they're going to get a lot more business as a result of that, right? So you may have touched on this before, and I don't know if this will load up quickly, Hannah. But did you share the model last time with Liz, or we just did it on the phone? Yeah, okay. Did you want me to talk to it, or are you happy to talk to it? What would you like?
We can do both. I don't mind.
Yeah, let's wax.
I have seen this.
You've seen this, yeah. Yeah. Well, we won't spend long on it, so that's okay. So maybe you talk to it, Hannah, and then I'll.
So this is pretty much just to sort of show you what we do. So it's not smoke and mirrors. You don't know what we're doing or what's going on behind the scenes. This is what we follow. So look at the top left, it's your business house. Everything from you're designing, your copy, your marketing, etc. And at the top of the house is your communications, and we sit within communications, social media. So what we do, if you look down to the bottom left, online, we work with you, your business, and putting your network, like I've mentioned before, differentiating your business with your network, your rivals, your prospects and customers. So putting you online amongst all of them. We use inbound marketing tactics. So social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and search engines, Google and YouTube. So that's what we'd be setting up your business on. And we look at social proofing your website. So as we've all mentioned before, having your social media at the top of your website. That's what we were talking about, having your banner picture, your slogan, etc. And then we look at your audience. So can you read this, Steve, from your computer?
No worries. Yeah, probably just on that. We've talked about the fact this is the content that we use is taken from the website. So people often sort of say, "Oh, do you do copywriting?" Yes and no. We do the social media copywriting, and we do the tail that says to learn more, to book in, to get a copy, call or visit. Right. So essentially, we use the website copy, and we then tail it and maybe add an emoji or two because because of the type of business it is, and a hashtag or two, to actually then have a habit of either daily or every second day posting, basically. And yes, on the right hand side, what we've got here is just, we know that less than 50% of businesses have any strategy. So this is a strategy. Yellow Pages report tells us that small businesses, there's 2 million of us, and less than 50% have a Facebook page. Of those that have a Facebook page, less than 30% have ever advertised. So all of a sudden it says that of 50% are getting, or 70% of the 50% are getting no reach, realistically, right? So they've just got a very poor landing page. By adding a consistency of habit as well as the ads, we know that we have a strategy that is likely to bring tens of thousands of eyeballs reach, and hundreds to thousands of engagement, brand recall, and traffic. And ultimately, that's what people then judge return on investment around, right? So as a result of having lots more people seeing my posts, lots more people going through to my website, how many people are booking in? Basically, that's the idea, and that's kind of what return on investment
That's what it's all about, isn't
yeah,
it?
that's what it's all about. So yeah, I just put up the picture because the picture's always slow to load, and there you go. Now it's loaded. So today we do the audit consult. We spend our time to create it. We then have this little session to talk it through. We don't actually charge for this session if you go ahead. So in other words, on occasion, particularly when it was leading up to COVID, we do this, and then we do finish up sending out an invoice if people don't go ahead. But if you do go ahead, we waive this fee. And then it's basically a 5-hour setup and planning day, which is a once off, right? So it's 3 hours where it's a bit fluid, sort of 2 to 3 hours, maybe slightly more around setup and revision of the sites. And then we do go into the planning session. And the planning session, again, is the 2-hour sort of fluid where we're looking at who should we connect your businesses with, because other than paying, and who should you be connected with around LinkedIn, for instance? How do you use that in a particular way? And what do we do around advertising, looking at audiences to target, right? So where do they live? What do they look like? Clearly, pet owner. We're going to put in certain keywords, key interests, and potentially, around geographic and that sort of thing as well. So, and what we try and do, because people often get a bit confused with that, right? It's not a direct marketing source, right? It's not like sending out an email. It's basically creating a haystack, right? And what we try and do is create a manageable haystack. So in other words, where the salon is, you would tell us, well, where are they likely to come in from? We kind of know that in general, 80%, we'd want to target who's currently attending the salon.
Yeah.
So they probably look the same. So there's a likelihood that your prospects look the same as your current clients, right? And so that's the sort of strategy that we would use around targeting people. But we don't want to have millions of people in that target audience because, A, you'd never get to them all without spending too much money. So in other words, we want to have a target audience that potentially spending $5 a day, you will get to them at some point, right?
Yeah.
And the ones that are really interested, because of that pixel, you'll get to them more than once. They'll keep seeing you, right? So because they will have visited the website, would have shown some sort of interest in you. And so we know that that'll repurpose with that. So that's a one-off session. So that's a $935 day where we literally, once that's done, it's done, right? And then we can get on and manage at either an extra small level or at a small business level. The small business level, extra small is 3 posts a week, basically Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and every second month reporting, right? So that's 242. And then everyday posting is 374 a month and monthly reporting. And so that's the difference between the two, right? So in a way, the 242 a month came about so that people didn't scrimp on doing advertising. So there is a minimal cost around the advertising. So we do ask, so as far as our buying cost, if you like, and managing cost, it's 10% of the advertising spend. So in other words, if you spend $300 a month, then it's $30, for instance, right? But often, from well, not often, for all of our clients at the moment, we've been charging that virtually on a per annum basis because it doesn't get up to a high enough level for us to be charging $25 or
Yeah, I was going to say
yeah,
like $3.50 a week.
yeah, that's right. So depending on what you, if someone exactly right, we've got people that are running the
Even get you a coffee.
exactly, yeah. So you know, essentially it is done in a way to sort of have a professional marketer do your social media marketing at a cost that sort of replaces the receptionist or the owner, if you know what I mean. So it makes a better use of time than the owner trying to do it, you know. So that's the intent. Because if you were to work it out on a daily basis, you probably couldn't hire a casual an hour a day to do what we're doing. You know what I mean? So that's the intent, and that's kind of what the model is. And clearly, it's very different to a digital agency as well, which will then put an extra number on our costs because clearly we're just focusing on social media channels and Facebook advertising. Yeah, that's the difference. So
yeah. I mean, it all sounds really good. I mean, that's the sort of thing that I need. It's like I say, you know, like the grooming salon is doing really well. It's just the daycare side of it. But having said that, you know, if the grooming grows as well, which it's growing year on year, month on month, you know, then that's not a bad thing. It just means more headaches for me because I need more staff.
yeah. Has COVID and now being sort of out of COVID for quite a long time, other than the couple of snap lockdowns, has it been? What's the impact been for you?
If anything, last year we were busier through
Right.
COVID because we didn't close. I haven't closed at all, and any of the lockdowns I've stayed open through them all because there was no, you know, you go through your list of businesses, and I think the government forgot all about dog groomers, so we just sneaked in there and kept open, and nobody told us any different, and the clients kept wanting to come. So, you know,
I read
Great.
that. I read that people, it's a bit like your kids. You're spending more time with your kids and you're spending more time with your pets.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, I've heard
People
that.
were noticing when they were dirty and when they were shaggy. And then, of course, supposedly everyone's been out and bought puppies, haven't they, during COVID, during
So many
lockdown?
people bought pets. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and then obviously, you know, we've got a really good listing, like you say, on Google. So, you know, Google has just been feeding me all these new clients, which is great.
As well. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Well, so if that's of interest, then it's just really a matter of working at a time. Is a 5 hour day doable for you?
Yeah, how would it be done?
So
Like
we do
this?
it like
Like this.
this. Yeah.
But
If
you would probably take more of the control because it's your accounts and we want you, you know, they're your social media
Yeah,
accounts. So we'd be helping them set up from your end, obviously with our help as well. Yeah.
yeah,
Given
yeah.
that
No,
you've had a bit of a play in the past, and I know it does do your head in a little bit, but that's not a bad. You'll find that you'll really learn a lot from going through the process of all the different ones. What we often say, it's your social media car. We just have capacity to drive it. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So that's why we do it this way. But what I might test, at the bottom of the screen, if can you see the share button on your screen?
yeah,
Can you just click that and see that you can share from your screen?
yeah. It's coming up with Google Drive, Micro Whiteboard, Trello boards, YouTube.
So maybe just click on that and just check that you're actually able to share from your end.
Share what?
Just
Google.
go share your
Google.
entire screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be able to do it at the same time as I'm doing it, I think.
There you go. Oh, choose what to
Yeah,
share.
choose what to share and then the next one. Yeah.
Entire screen, share. Just my
Okay.
computer's been really slow today.
Yeah, and that can it's black on the screen at the moment, but it suggests that we're going to be okay. I wonder why that's black on the screen. Do you reckon that's a speed thing? I wonder if I take
Yeah,
myself off. Yeah. Anyway, it would look like you're going to be able to share screen, although I would like to see maybe just
See.
yeah, I would like to test out. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop my screen sharing.
Oh, there we go.
Is
But
that
yeah,
your
it's quite
screen now?
slow.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's your screen, right? So if you oh yeah, so we're seeing us. There you go. exactly. So that's working. Cool. No worries. All right. So that's all I just wanted to test, because that's once we've got that,
Oh
then
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I've just flicked you off now. We know it works, so that's the main thing. So if we can't share screens, it can become. We've done some funny ones. I think, Hannah, have you had some funny ones? I can't remember if we've had ones where I've had to have phones going. I just remember doing an air conditioning guy who was actually out the back from where I was. He could share his screen, but couldn't do anything else. So I literally had FaceTime, I think, going the whole time, and we were sort of working off. And then after the setup, we often then take control from our end. So if we did get it tricky, because then we can do what we need to do from our end if it becomes tricky. But I think from what you've shown us, it wouldn't be too tricky. Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So I don't know if you have any more questions around that. Other than that, it would just be sort of what are your
Looking.
best days? Yeah.
So I suppose, like, so obviously you pay the initial fee, you do the 5 hours setup and all the
Yeah.
rest of it, and then you decide whether you want 3 posts a week or 5 posts a week.
Yeah.
And then would that be like, how long would you recommend that for? You know, like infinity or?
Well, I've got clients that have been doing it, not quite infinity, but that's a good question. I, look, clients don't stop if it's working, right? So, but to answer your question, we're not like certain unscrupulous businesses. We don't lock anybody into any time frame. So, but certainly we suggest that you give it a go for 3 months.
Yeah, yeah.
And
See the
then
I'm,
results.
realistically,
I'm
yeah,
just thinking, like, you know, it becomes a point because, like, I'm only looking for, like, say 15 daycare dogs a day, and I'm just thinking, you know,
yeah.
if this all pans out in 12 months time, say I'm at capacity and I don't want to grow anymore,
Hmm,
and I say, hey, look, can we,
yeah,
you know,
turn it
wind
off.
this back?
Of course. Oh, look, there's no, as I said, it's not I a lot of people in COVID said, "Oh, we're going to have to put your subscription off on hold." I'm like, we're not a subscription business. It's a lot of work, I'll have you know. But yeah, it's fair to say we don't lock anybody in. So really, it's just a matter of sort of giving us notice if that's the case. And if it was along those lines, we'd probably know pretty well in advance, because you'd be telling us that, oh, look, it's working out pretty well. Yeah. And so, as you said, then you sort of we're a communications business at the end of the day. So hopefully, we'd be communicating with one another around yeah, where things were at and how things were going. And as I said, with the reporting is the other thing, is, you know, we generally report for ourselves first in order, is everything working the way we'd expect it to work?
Yeah.
And so they're not like what you might have had. I don't know if any you've ever received Google Analytics or other types of reports. They're pretty much a one pager that talks about each of the channels and how they're performing, and whether or not there's things we could consider doing differently, or whether it's just doing what we expect it to do. Right. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
much it.
I've had Google Analytic reports, and it's all a bit double dutch to me.
Correct. Yeah. Our reports have been called tradesman-like.
Right.
So
Okay.
they're kept at a relatively straightforward and simple language, and as I said, just a one page of form, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no
Okay.
worries.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm happy to go ahead with this because I think that's what my business needs.
Mhm.
Do you have a day that would suit next week,
Yeah.
Liz?
So I'm trying to get Wednesdays off at the moment. So yeah, Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah. Would that suit you next week, Hannah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So, now we're not actually all on the same timeline too.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we're all on the East Coast now. Summer daylight time is finished. So I know Hannah's an early riser, and most Queenslanders are. But do you want to say sort of 9:15?
Yeah, that suits.
9:15. At this stage, do you want to do daily or every second day, Liz?
For posting.
Posting.
Mm.
Hmm.
You can again, nothing is locked in. You can always turn down or turn up. So depending on which way you want to start.
Yeah.
It's fair to say most people, if they start at extra small, 242, really turn up. so So again, it's up to you. You've got enough
They
content to do.
rarely turn up, you mean?
They rarely turn up because realistically, as I said, we did it on the. So you've got enough content to post daily, but we recognise that you might want to, if you're being budget conscious, you might want to post every second day, and do it as an extra small, so that you're then spending your $5 a day on advertising.
Well, that's sort of like what I was thinking.
Yeah, instead of doing the additional posts, and
It's like there's nothing still stopping me from putting posts up on Facebook.
no, correct, and that's another good point. Exactly. Then, and in fact, that's what you would do, and we'd encourage you to do that on the days that, particularly on the days we weren't posting, right? So if that's what you might then, and we would talk about that in the planning session as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll probably start with the free posts a week, and then, like I say, put some money into the Facebook advertising.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's awesome. I'm excited. Fantastic.
I'm just putting this in my calendar. So next Wednesday at 9:15.
Perfect.
Yeah. Hannah will do a little calendar invite to us as well. Okay. Hannah, is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. Well, that's in my phone. Great.
Unless there's any more questions, Liz. One more. I have a question that it's not a question, but Steve, as you know, so Liz has got the grooming salon and the doggy daycare website. So they're pretty much two. This is actually probably what we talk about in the session. I'm getting ahead of myself, Steve.
Yeah, I think it is, because as you said, it's sort of all housed together. So it's just how we blend it in from a planning. What we might finish up doing is how we post, probably. Yeah. And even how we advertise, we'll probably talk about that. So often with businesses, depending on where they're focusing on, so you might sort of have 2/3 might focus on the daycare and 1/3 on the salon, and or vice versa. I don't know. That's something we would sort of talk to you about. And often it is guided by, it's really guided by the strategy you want to go with, but at the same time, the web content that's available to us as well. And even from an but remembering that a lot of the stuff is going to come from advertising, unless they're, because they're not, are they ostensibly, that's a good word, are they ostensibly the same business?
Yes.
Yeah. So essentially, I think that's how we need to look at it, rather than ostensibly. I think essentially, yeah.
I only split them because I thought in the beginning that I wasn't getting daycare clients because of the name of the business, i.e. Grooming Salon. So I thought, right, okay, I need to. Maybe I complicated it in one way, but in my mind, it was making it easier for marketing.
Yeah. And I think probably there's nothing to stop your socials by naming it in a particular way that you have both in there as well. That's something that we'll talk about as well, right? Yeah. There's some naming things that would, and certainly in all the short abouts and all that sort of stuff, it'll be very specific, and any posting would be the same, is to make sure that we're not sort of leaving one out or the other out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you, Liz.
You're online. You should all be good to get on now next time. Sorry about that. Okay, we'll see you next week then.
All right, we'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you.
Bye.
Our little hands become a door.